Good morning. I am Rabbi Shauna Nair from Suburban Temple Kol Ami, and it is my honor to be here this morning as we gather together with Marcia's family to comfort them as they mourn the loss of their beloved. We remember Marcia and join our hearts together to give comfort and strength to her family. Mourning is a time filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. We begin our service with the recitation of psalms and prayers, thus linking Marcia's life with the millennial-old tradition of the people of Israel and the eternity of God. The fourth crown. Our rabbis taught that there are 3 crowns: the crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, and the crown of royalty. But they emphasized that the crown of a good name excels them all. The book of Ecclesiastes says, "A good name is to be treasured above precious oil. Wealth, health, even life passes away, but a good name lives forever." In this view, the Talmud teaches, monuments need not be erected for the righteous. Their deeds are their memorials. They will be remembered and revered for the kindness they have shown and for the love they have given. They are shining examples of what it means to be a mensch. Adonai, who may abide in your house, who may dwell in your holy mountain, those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth with their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, who scorn the lawless but honor those who revere God, who give their word and come what may do not retract, who do not exploit others, who do not take terrible bribes, those who live in this way shall never be shaken. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. A story is told that one day Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai gathered his disciples around him and said to them, "I have a very important task for you. I want you to go out into the world, search out the ways of people, and see what is truly good in humanity. Then return to me and tell me what you have found." As always, the disciples obeyed their teacher. They walked among people of every class and occupation, every background and lot in life. After a time, when each believed that he had found what was truly good in people, they returned to the rabbi to report what they had learned. "So tell me, Rabbi Yochanan," first addressing Rabbi Eliezer, "what have you found to be truly good?" "A good eye," Eliezer replied. "For those who have a good eye have an eye for the suffering of others, so they are led to be generous." "Well said," their teacher nodded. "And you, Rabbi Yehoshua, what have you found to be truly good?" "A good friend," he answered. "A person should not only cultivate a good friend, but should themselves be a good friend. That is how life takes on value, for a friend has no price that is more precious than gold." You too have spoken well, the rabbi answered. Then turning to Rabbi Yossi, he asked, What have you learned? I have learned, said Yossi, a good neighbor is truly good. A person cannot live in isolation from others, but needs company in order to be truly good. It is from a good neighbor that we learn how to be a good neighbor. We all may learn from what you have learned, Rabbi Yochanan commented, but I wonder about Rabbi Shimon. What has he found to be truly good? I have found that a person who looks ahead and attends to the consequences of their actions is truly good, said Rabbi Shimon. We must remember that everything we do positively or negatively affects others and our world. What you say is profound, said Rabbi Yochanan. Listen well, all of you, to Rabbi Shimon, but we have not yet heard from Rabbi Elazar. The disciples and their teacher turned to Rabbi Elazar, prepared to listen to his discourse on what was truly good in humanity. But all he said was, a good heart is truly good. At this, their teacher smiled and declared, I prefer the words of Elazar to all your words, because in his words are contained all of your words. A good heart sees rightly and seeks out other human beings, loving our neighbor as the Torah commands us. And a good heart looks not only ahead but also above, loving God as the Torah commands us. Yes, Rabbi Elazar has spoken well. Marcia Levine had an incredible heart that allowed her to see the suffering of others and to work to make their lives better. She was an incredible family member, friend, and neighbor who always put the needs and desires of others before her own. And she truly thought about her actions, always wondering how she could leave this world better than she found it. As I spoke with her family last night, the feelings of love for Marcia were palpable. As the stories flowed, so did the admiration, affection, and deep, deep love. Her family shared that her whole life, Marcia loved learning, even if sometimes she needed encouragement from Harriet on the third floor. She loved books, often reading 3 at a time. And when she was a kid and her mom gave her money, that is what she always spent it on. And she even worked as a buyer for booksellers. Laura remembered that when Emma was in junior high, Laura went to Marcia for book recommendations. And Marcia became Emma's own version of the Cliff Notes. And Harrison remembered that whenever he finished a book, Aunt Marcia was always ready with the next one, especially if it was science fiction. It is no surprise that when our new intergenerational learning program opened, the first class Marcia signed up for was the Jews and their books. Marcia got her undergraduate degree from the University of Toledo, where she was roommates with Debbie, like they had been all their lives, although this time their mother could no longer separate them if they got too rowdy. And then after the University of Toledo, Marcia pursued her other love, the theater, with an MFA in theater from the University of Akron. Marcia had done stage managing for productions and continued to do so, including the award-winning Michael LaBlasse show production of 9 at Kane Park. Marcia also took a course in career counseling and classes in human resources. All of these helped with her career at the Employment Alliance, where she helped those with mental illness find jobs. Marcia was able to meet her clients where they were, whether that meant her office, at a library, or at a Dunkin' Donuts. She was able to see the potential in them, and it was for this reason she was often given those who were considered the hardest to reach. When it came to Judaism, Marcia understood that one is never done learning. She was an active member of our Torah study group, And when we called the members to let them know that Marcia had died, so many expressed that they would miss her insights and the unique ideas she brought to the group. She was also one of the first to sign up for our new lifelong learning program and made sure to sign up every trimester. And Marcia knew that part of being a learner is passing your learning on to the next generation, which she did as both a religious school teacher and the director of the education program at Kol Chadash, where she was also an officer. Marcia loved family, and she knew every member. Richard joked that he would be lost today without Marcia to ensure he knew who everyone was. She was a wonderful daughter to Harvey and Harriet, and especially to Harriet since Harvey passed, taking her on vacation every year to Hilton Head, being her tech guru, and having their manicure dates. She was a good sister to Debbie, Richard, and Michael, and a good sister-in-law to Bruce, Brenda, and Laura, even taking Bruce into her home when he needed a place to stay in Cleveland. But most of all, she prided herself on being an amazing aunt. It was her goal in life, and she succeeded. There were sleepovers where Aunt Marcia always fell asleep first, and babysitting with crafts and games. There were trips to Toys R Us with the $10 limit to spend on anything you wanted that Matt always tried to extend. There were dinners at Eaton Park that ended with smiley face cookies. There were the times that Ben and Matt were pawned off on her, and she took them to the Pokemon show and got them front row seats, no less. She knew each niece and nephew as an individual. Matt and his Legos, Ben and his Starbucks, Andy and her girly purses and jewelry. And when she broke her wrist, she taught herself to crochet as therapy, and she made blankets. And Ian, he shared one of the sweetest memories that totally encapsulated who Marcia was as an aunt and a person. Shortly after his bar mitzvah, Marcia was taking Ian and Ben to spend some of Ian's bar mitzvah money or gift cards. On the way to the mall, they slid on black ice and there was a car accident. While no one was hurt, the airbags deployed and the car was pretty badly banged up, yet still drivable. Despite all of this, Marcia insisted they continue with their trip to the mall. We can only assume that she knew the kids would be upset by the accident, and she wanted them to have a happy memory of the day. That was Marcia. She always put the needs of others before her own. She was never selfish. She had a strong sense of helping others. And no matter what life dealt her or what the situation was, she always found the silver lining. She had a positive attitude. Marcia had a good heart indeed. She was someone who saw rightly and was incredibly generous. She was a good family member, friend, and neighbor who made a difference in the lives of all who knew her. And she worked every day to leave our world better than she found it. Rabbi Jacob Philip Rudin writes, "When we are dead and people weep for us and grieve, let it be because we touched their lives with beauty and simplicity. Let it not be said that life was good to us, but rather that we were good to life." Marcia Levine's life was all too brief, but she was good to life for her 60 years, and in turn, life was good to her. May her memory always be a blessing. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding. From fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies, not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination, and life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to life everlasting. If you know it, please join me in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures, and leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He lead me on right paths for the sake of his name. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You have set a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. We rise for El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Shechina, Im Kedoshim Uthorim, Kuzor Harakia Mazhirim, Et Nishmat, Mirka Bat Chaim V'chana, Shahalcha Le'olama, Baal Harachamim, Yistireha Beseter Kanafav Le'olamim, Vayitzror Bitzror HaChayim, Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach Bashalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar, Amen. Fully compassionate God on high, to our loved one who has entered eternity, grant her clear and certain rest in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever unfold her in the embrace of your wings. Secure her soul in eternity. Adonai, she is yours. May she rest in peace, as together we say, Amen.